Welcome to the audio of the non-religious spirituality book, Happy Soul, Hungry Mind, a modern-day parable about practical spirituality. Chapter 14, Mature Your Perspectives. Rishi touched his forehead and said,
It's difficult for our minds to calm down until we mature our perspectives. We must really understand how this world works. That's how we will mature.
Do you think maturity comes with age?
Yes and no. Age sometimes leads to maturity.
I must be the kind that matured young.
Yes, of course. I have 3 points to share. The first is our worldly bubble is fragile.
Rishi swept his hand around the room.
We think everything in life is guaranteed. When we are happy, having a blast, we don't see any problem.
Travis nodded slightly.
But sooner or later, our bubble bursts. Life is full of ups and downs. When we are lost in a stupor, thinking we are in control, that's when life can hit us the hardest, reminding us things can change drastically without warning.
Travis was silent. Rishi looked caringly at Travis.
Because we don't have the right perspective, we allow catastrophic events to overwhelm us and destroy our lives. The executive who works all the time suddenly loses his or her job, or worse, is demoted. Such an executive is hit so hard, it seems like an existential crisis.
Travis grimaced.
My dad's best friend worked for the same oil and gas company for 33 years and was laid off. That was his entire working life. He was devastated. Took him a long time to recover.
Yes, life shocks us again and again. Many years ago, one of my family friends' investments were wiped out in the stock market. He became bedridden and lost his will to live.
I've seen people get badly hurt in love. One of my wife's friends nearly killed herself. We had no idea she was so heartbroken. But not everyone kills themselves.
True, you don't have to kill yourself, but it still gets pretty horrible. I've gone through my absolute hell.
What happened in your case?
Rishi looked away.
If we remember our life's situations are fragile, then we are living with our eyes open, not flying blind.
Isn't that living in fear?
No, not at all. Car accidents are a reality. Doesn't mean we stop driving, but we should never forget accidents do happen. That's a reminder to not drive recklessly.
I get it. In Las Vegas, for instance, the odds are always with the house. I tell my team at Treviso, don't delude yourself into thinking you're lucky and play without limits. You could lose your shirt. Delusion is injurious to health.
Yes. And so consider this world as if it's a supersized Las Vegas. We can have lots of ups and downs. We live unaware. We're living recklessly. We don't even realize it. It's an epidemic.
Travis had a doubtful look.
Is it that bad? Really?
More than you can imagine. Look at the amount of discontent we all experience in our lives. So many people go through depression because they feel life has failed them. And then there are so many who suffer extreme stress and anxiety.
I can't argue with that.
Our worldly bubble is fragile. That was the first point. The second point is, nothing in this world is permanent. Everything we are concerned about, everything we love and hate, it is all transient. In 100 years, it will all be different.
Travis tapped his thumb.
None of us will be here then.
Then why does it have such a hold on us? We are the only species who understands death is certain. Yet, we act as if we'll live forever. Our lives are temporary, like sandcastles on the beach, waiting to be dissolved by the tide.
Man, I don't even want to think about it. It's a downer.
Rishi smiled.
Actually, it's a liberator. It gives us ultimate freedom. Wealth, family, friends, career, everything is transient. Once we accept it, we'll develop the right perspective and not take life too seriously. It will free us from our fears and make us stronger. Make us like steel.
Travis pushed a pillow aside.
Well,
You know Steve Jobs, Travis, the co-founder of Apple. He had a great quote. Remembering you're going to die is the best way to avoid the trap of thinking you have something to lose. We have nothing to lose. Nothing on earth is ours. We are tourists passing through.
we do hang around for a long time, and we leave our legacy behind.
That is true. I'm not saying disregard life completely. I'm saying take it less seriously.
Rishi took a deep breath.
There's something I have never shared with anyone.
Unsure, Travis eyed Rishi with no reaction.
When I was 18 or 19, I used to think about killing myself by jumping from the terrace of our building.
You gotta be kidding me.
Nope, I'm not kidding. It's true.
Why would you think about something like that?
It was the pressure of doing well in exams.
Was it pressure from your parents?
No, it was just self-pressure.
That's terrible. How could you think like that?
Studies was my world. I didn't have any other interest. I really needed to do well. And I put a whole lot of pressure on myself.
So that was your bubble.
Yes. Great point, Travis. That was my bubble, unfortunately. I was a good student, but inside I was dealing with nonsense. Exam pressure would give me this harrowing feeling.
But no reason to jump off.
I agree completely. But then in that situation, it was just overwhelming. The point though is this: as horrible as it was, as horrible as I felt in that situation, today I can barely remember it. I can't even remember my grades. What was so compelling, so suffocating then, now seems like just an illusion.
Travis could not relate. Grades never mattered to him.
I did graduate with honors, yet for many years I'd get nightmares that I hadn't prepared enough for my exams.
It really had that strong of a hold on you?
Yeah. And, in my early jobs in my career, I used to be so worried about the politics, how my bosses were playing games.
Corporate America.
I used to be so stressed. Suchi would ask me again and again to take it easy, but I just couldn't. Now, I can barely even remember the names of my bosses, let alone my problems. At that time, what seemed so real is just a faint memory now.
I can't argue that. I hated my 3 years in corporate America. Now it really does seem distant.
I feel like a complete fool now. Those situations have disappeared. I went through hell for nothing.
Buddy, that's not true. You've accomplished a lot of stuff.
Rishi unfurled his palm to gesture things disappearing.
My point is, nothing has stayed steady. Not even me. I can't find my younger self. I look in the mirror and wonder who's the guy I'm looking at. I ask him, hey, who are you? How did you get in?
You're funny.
Travis, I refuse Facebook requests from my high school friends.
Why is that?
They look old in their pictures. My memory of them is much younger. I want to hang on to that. They have changed. I have changed.
But you know, man, that's life.
Yeah, indeed it is, Travis. But that is my point. The entire material world is transient. What seems so real now, what seems so overwhelming now, will absolutely fade away with time. We need to remember that always and not get bent out of shape in difficult times or go overboard in good times.
So the old truth, this too shall pass.
Rishi wondered if Travis was referring to his situation or just reciting the common saying.
Travis, this point is critical in maturing our perspective. If we appreciate all of our life incidents are transient, then we won't take them too seriously. We won't be beaten or broken down. We'll engage with the material world, but not be shocked when things change.
Travis looked on painfully. He shook his head slowly.
Buddy, I know where you're going with this. Someday, one day, I'll get over, or not get over, and accept Nathan's death. I could have never been prepared for Nathan's. I can't ever prepare for that.
Rishi nodded gently in acknowledgement.
In your case, Travis, it was sudden. In my case, it wasn't. Priya got married in India. Man, I miss her so much. I don't get to talk to her much now. She's busy with her husband and in-laws and her new business. The house is so empty, so lifeless without her.
Man, you're telling me.
Suchi is consumed with her schoolwork. I'm busy too, but I'm really lonely. I miss our family times. And I knew this was coming, yet I didn't develop other interests. The first few months after the wedding, they were just horrible.
Travis kept mum. Rishi took a few breaths.
All of us are making the mistake of believing our lives will continue forever the way it is. We don't prepare ourselves for known and unknown changes.
Travis didn't say anything. His fingers interlocked. Rishi caressed the nail of his right thumb with his left thumb.
There are so many couples in their 60s, 70s, and 80s who need to be better prepared for one of them to pass away. They need to develop interests, occupations, and relationships beyond their spouse. Otherwise, life can be crushing for the first few months and years after their spouse passes away.
Yeah, this applies to younger couples too.
Yes, them too.
Rishi waved his hand.
Health, wealth, careers, relationships are all fleeting.
Travis contorted his face.
That's depressing.
Yeah, it is. It's ugly, but it is the truth. Once we accept that truth, it gives us our toughness and the ultimate positive outlook on life. It takes the fear away. We can't change the laws of life, but we can change our perspective and be better prepared. It'd be difficult, but it'd be our greatest victory.
Travis sagged.
That one's difficult.
Yeah. Do you remember the story where the king killed all the wild animals and built a palace on the island?
So we need to kill our fears and obsessions? And spirituality is the island palace?
Very nice. Very nice. If we progress towards spirituality, we will insulate ourselves from the world. The ugliness won't affect us and we'll see only beauty all around us. So how about another depressing topic?
Rishi smiled.
It's my third point.
Travis returned the smile.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Actually, wait. Let me share something funny.
Okay.
Travis, one day I had this thought. I thought to myself, I said, life is too short and I need to relish every day. I love food. So I decided I need to have a great meal every day. Now, I don't know how to cook. Suchi does all the cooking. She is an excellent cook. But many days, she'll just put something together, something quickly.
This, my friend, is getting interesting.
I know. So I wanted to tell Suchi, she needs to make a great meal every day. I knew if I just asked it, it wasn't going to happen. So to be dramatic, while having dinner, I told her, I am dying.
No way, you did not.
I did too. I thought she'll be shocked and concerned.
Then what happened?
Without even lifting her head, she said, we're all dying.
Oh, my goodness.
Basically, she meant shut up and finish dinner. Priya, my very own daughter, didn't even look up and continued to eat, ignoring the whole conversation. That day, Travis, I learned an important lesson. Eat dinner quietly without complaining.
Serves you right, my buddy.
That's right. That's true, Travis. That is true. Oh my.
You mentioned you had another depressing thing.
Yes, my third point. We need to understand the nature of happiness.
Excuse me? The nature of happiness?
Yes, we derive happiness from various sources. Possessions like houses, cars, clothes, and bank balances. Pleasurable experiences and activities like dancing, playing sports, hiking. We enjoy a great sense of community by going to a concert or watching sports in a stadium. How much fun would it be to watch the Super Bowl, but all alone in the stadium?
That'd be freaky, kind of eerie.
Yes. Being in a crowd gives us great joy. Also, watching a good movie, enjoying the sunset on the beach, shopping, driving a fast car, good food.
Oh, don't forget good sex.
Yes.
Travis had a mischievous look.
That too, Travis. And many of us derive happiness from work.
Well, sometimes.
Fine, I'll give you that. Not all of us, but many do. From scientists to artists, CEOs to doormen, people find great happiness in work. Then there are those who find happiness in service. You could give them a Ferrari, but they'd find greater joy in serving others.
Oh, not me. I'll take the Ferrari.
I bet you would. We all find happiness in a different way, and that's okay. Let's see, what am I missing? We find great happiness in our personal relationships, family, friends, and many of us find great happiness in faith. I might have missed some, but you get the sense of the different sources of happiness.
Okay.
Travis waited for the punchline.
But
Yes.
all these sources of happiness are also transient.
You love that word, transient, don't you?
It's how life is. Those sources of happiness can stop giving us happiness at any time. For 20 years, I wanted to buy a Mercedes-Benz S550. Suchi tells me I told her that when I first met her.
Did you really?
You mean, did I tell her?
No, buy the car.
Yes, I did. Top of the line, cost me $100,000.
Whoa.
I was in heaven the first time I drove it home. Even if it was a horrible day at work, once I'd sit in the car, I'd forget everything. When we went on vacations, guess what? I couldn't wait to get home to drive it.
That's cool.
Yeah, cool it was. Now, 5 years later, though, it's the same car, but the excitement has subsided.
I don't really buy that.
I'm telling you. Now I have a horrible day at work. I sit in the car and the day is still horrible.
Well,
Travis, this is the point. No matter the source of happiness,
Rishi paused to make sure Travis was completely attuned.
no matter the source of happiness, there is a possibility it could stop providing you happiness or the level of happiness drops off.
Travis narrowed his eyes and followed closely.
High school sweethearts who have had a long, happy marriage can still wake up one day and realize the love is gone. My neighbor's son, he wanted to be a doctor growing up. That's all he ever wanted. But once he got to college, he changed his mind overnight. People who have loved their line of work for years can still get tired of it, even if they're making loads of money. People even lose their faith. It happens.
That's true.
Rishi raised his index finger.
No matter the source of happiness,
She paused for emphasis.
the receiver is always the mind, and the mind can change its preference without warning. That's a very important point for us to remember.
What's the point again?
We could spend all our lives pursuing a source of happiness, and then bang, all of a sudden, it could stop satisfying our mind, leaving it disenchanted.
Okay, true. But what's the point here? Don't be happy?
No. Enjoy the world and its pleasures. Enjoy them. But don't ever make the mistake of assuming it's the real deal. If we want permanent happiness, we need to look beyond the worldly sources. In fact, we must look beyond our very mind.
Look beyond our mind.
Travis shook his head.
Everything is beyond our mind. The soul is beyond our mind, and now our happiness is beyond our mind. Darn it.
True, Travis, true.
Our poor mind. Fire the mind.
The problem is, and I want to make this point. This is really huge, Travis. The problem is, people enjoying the material world don't appreciate the enormous, gigantic, tectonic importance of looking beyond their mind. But the spiritual seekers know this is worth more than all the money in Las Vegas.
Now, you know I was just teasing. I do get it, okay? The happiness our mind experiences is transient. It's fleeting. We must go beyond the mind. That's why your mantra emphasizes calming the mind.
Rishi smiled with great satisfaction.
Ah, very nice, Travis. Thank you. Can you recite it?
Quiet the hungry mind. Let your happy soul shine.
Quiet your hungry mind. Let your happy soul shine.
Rishi closed his eyes.
I wish this mantra helps everyone.
Rishi opened his eyes and shook his head.
There is so much unnecessary pain and suffering in this world. I wish I could do something to help people.
Buddy, you are. You're talking to me. You're helping me.
Yes. Maturing our perspectives reduces the material world's hold on us. It's like watching waves on an ocean. You see it as a play of nature. Similarly, once we mature, we see life itself as a play of the universe. Then, no matter what the circumstance, we can remain stable and calmer.
I guess it's easier said than done. It's difficult to snap your fingers and say, poof. I have a new perspective, though. Thank you.
True. Changing perspectives isn't easy. It's the same as making a lifestyle change. It takes a real commitment. The question to ask yourself, do I really want spiritual progress?
You know, everything you said makes sense in theory. But in practice, will I become zombies?
Rishi had a stern look. He did not like the word theory.
The spiritual method isn't an academic discussion. It's an absolute practical way to live our lives in a much better way.
Easing up, Rishi said.
You won't be a zombie. On the contrary, you'll be the life of the party, the go-to guy in the office.
Travis raised his eyebrows in skepticism.
When your mind isn't perturbed by difficult circumstances, you are perpetually in a good mood, realistic in your assessment of situations because you are not overwhelmed by them. You'll be the best friend, non-judgmental, and always helping selflessly.
Like you.
Kid, I have you fooled. If only you knew.
Knew what?
Never mind.
Rishi waved his hand.
If you transform your thoughts and matured your perspectives, there won't be a gray day in your life. Actually, there will be gray days, but it won't affect your disposition. Your anxiety will go down.
Travis took it in silently.
Man, if you only knew, my anxiety is sky high. I can't even get my team to execute when I'm not there.
Rishi looked caringly.
Yeah, I know all about anxiety. If you quiet your mind, it will help dissolve your anxiety. It will help you manage better. Let's talk next about how to quiet the mind.
You better hurry before my mind explodes dealing with my team.
End of chapter 14, Material Perspectives. Takeaways from this chapter. If we are not careful, we can lose our most precious asset, our inner peace. Nothing in the material world is permanent. Nothing. The tide of time will wash away our sandcastles of physical body, relationships, work, assets, reputation, and even our very identities. Why then are we so obsessed with the material world? Everything you see, your possessions, your relationships, even your notion of God, is transient, subject to complete and sudden change. Tell your mind, I must relish today unconditionally and to its fullest. Your problems may seem overwhelming now, but they will fade away with time. It is a law of life. All situations, good or bad, pass away. Enjoy the world, but do not make the mistake of assuming it is the real deal. If you want permanent happiness, look beyond your own mind. There are no guarantees. Your life can change in a second. Nothing in life is permanent. Everything you see will fade away. Worldly happiness is temporary. Real permanent happiness lies beyond the mind. Developing a perspective of discernment and detachment is a powerful way to calm the mind.